There's an abundance of frustration and a lack of hope, and it's really sad because it's never too late. I'm living proof. I'm living proof.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silka. Today is our expert segment day, and I want to welcome to the program Treva Brandon Scharf. Treva, thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
By way of introduction, Treva is a Los Angeles-based writer. She's a fitness professional. She's a radio host. And for today's purposes, she is a dating coach who specializes in finding love late in life after 50. And as you did, you just recently got married after 50, right?
Yes, I did.
Oh, congratulations. So how I found Treva is I was doing some research for an article on a video for some supporting information that I wanted. And I love this article about how you talked or you wrote about sucking at relationships.
Right,
Talk to me about that and how that got you to where you are today, because a lot of our viewers are in that position.
Okay, so apropos of sucking, there is a leaf blower outside my window. So when we say sucking at relationships, you know the kind of sucking we're talking here. Not the good kind, not the good kind. Yes, and I do suck at relationships, which is good. I wrote that article because I just think people have a hard time in relationships. They have a hard time, and I'm going to include marriages too, I guess, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So they don't know how to collaborate or cooperate or accommodate and compromise. I had always heard this because I was single for so long, and my relationships never lasted that long. And I don't think it was anything I was doing on purpose, because I like to think I went into all my relationships as happy and healthy a single person as I could be. So I never was clingy or needy. I didn't demonstrate all the things that would normally repel someone or want someone to say, we're done here. I actually was a stellar girlfriend. For the first many years of my life, I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. And you got to really, before we start casting aspersions on people who suck at relationships, there's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't make you a bad person or a bad boyfriend or girlfriend because you're not ready. Okay. And I think there is a lot of misunderstanding that because you're not ready, therefore you're flawed, that you're not ready, there's something wrong with you, that you're defective or you're dysfunctional in some way. You may be. Look, everybody's flawed. Everybody's got their shit. Okay? But I know my shit. And I can tell you that I just wasn't ready for a really, really long time. And I didn't really have this burning urgency to get married and to even be in a relationship. So my relationships were like, a year, a couple years, maybe a couple of years. Before you start to beat yourself over because you can't seem to sustain a relationship, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. You just may not be ready. Yeah. You just may not want it.
Right. And that's part of what we want to talk to is that, you write about it so funny. I mean, you can tell, Treva is very funny. And that comes across in your articles and your writing, and that's what drew me to you right away. But so you keep having quote unquote failures, but it's really not becoming jaded in the process and giving up something, that is ultimately could be one of the happiest times in your life. We often say that, this is the time that prepares you for your later years.
Yes. So I was filing away, mental notes, making little mental notes, filing away. What did I learn here? What were the teachable moments? How can I take this experience and become a better person for it? How can I learn from this and go forward and with that much more wisdom and strength and self-awareness? So by the end of this 50-year-long single streak, by the time I, met my husband, and don't think it's, just because you get married doesn't mean all your problems go away. I have a whole entire, different set of issues because I've never been a partner. I've never been married. I've never even had a live-in boyfriend. I
I
mean,
was just
that's
going to say, have you ever lived with anybody?
no, I am a virgin all the way. Okay. When it comes to that. So I just made sure I learned along the way. I made sure I became better after every relationship. So when I was ready to commit, that was in my 40s, into my late 40s. And my issue was that I was in a dating pool with all kinds of men that were just getting out of their first marriages. Mm-hmm. So I had the shittiest timing ever because all I was meeting were, guys 5 seconds out of their marriages and did not want to jump back in. And so that was a little bit of, a challenge. So I've gone through all kinds of incarnations in this single life, but I will say that I have learned so much. This has been like an incredible education. Being single for this many years is, I hated it at times, but I ended up really loving what it taught me.
Well, Treva, in this whole process then, what is something that you can pass along to give others of us hope that, it's not too late? That's one thing I hear a lot from our viewers, that, it's just too late. I don't want to go here again. I don't want to do this again.
It's a great question, and there is definitely a lack of hope out there. There's an abundance of frustration and a lack of hope, and it's really sad because it's never too late. I'm living proof. It's never too late to find your way. It's never too late to find yourself. It's never too late to find a love. And I think that it's incumbent upon you going forward after any failure. I mean, this is just life stuff. To take a moment and really understand what did I just experience? What did I learn from it, and how can I better improve myself going forward? So never give up. Never be bereft of hope. Because that's really all we got. At the same time, I speak out of both sides of my mouth. Have faith. I just heard we had a guest on our show that said, "Don't quit before the miracle." Yeah, which is lovely. Trust, but at the same time, you better get good at letting go. That is as important as working hard. I have found in my work as a fitness professional, as a dating coach, and just as a late bloomer. It's really important. There are times in life where you gotta almost say, I give, I quit, I am gonna let things unfold as they will, and don't beat yourself. Also, I mean, there's so many things in this journey that are really important life lessons that you can apply to anything. Being able to say, okay, it's a strategic quitting. Let me just clarify that. So it's not giving up. It's saying, I'm going to be the kind of faith that is required to say, I'm going to be okay if I don't meet that person. I'm going to be fine. I will live. I will survive. I'm not going to die if I don't get married, or name it, whatever it is that your big giant goals are in life. It's super important that you have that level of like a safety net, your own, sort of insurance, that regardless of the outcome, that you're going to be okay. Because I got to that point. And there are a lot of people struggling with, oh, it's never going to happen. And you're right. It may not. It's a hard pill to swallow. It may not, you may not get married. I gave up. That was the secret to, I think, a lot of how I was able to magnetize someone into my life finally, because I didn't give a shit anymore. And I let it, go. And I thought, okay, I was literally turning 50. I met my husband on my 50th birthday. Okay. Because I threw a big party, and for whatever reason, I invited half of Facebook, including him, because he was, a Facebook-ish friend. So, I figured I'm never getting married. This is going to be the wedding I'm never having. So I'm going to throw a big party for my 50th, right? Because finally I got to the point where I thought, fuck it, I am going to be single forever.
Well, I think what you just described to I did this episode with Paige, it's like letting go. Finally giving up control and just letting things happen. All of a sudden you see things falling in place. I've heard that so much. So maybe that is the big takeaway for our segment here today. Stop controlling and
a lot of dating coaches like to give you the magic bullet or the secret sauce or some kind of something that, thinner thighs in 30 days. No, I cannot do that. What I can say is that I've walked the walk. I can say that I lived it. And it is not, nobody wants to hear that, you're never going to find love. Everybody needs hope. The quest for love it's eternal and it's critical. But here's what I can tell you. If you just work on yourself and trying to be the happiest, I say this all the time, the happier you are as a single person, the sooner you won't be single. Do you get what I'm saying?
I totally get it.
You're not losing. You're not wasting any time, because in the process of working on yourself and enjoying yourself and having a good time and a good life and being with friends, and you're not, you know what I mean? You're next thing you know it, you're like fabulous anyway. So, which is going to only make you more attractive to
Treva, I love talking to you. Our time is up for today. I'm going to link to all of your information to your fabulous articles. Treva's like a girlfriend that, even when I just love your writing, I just love it. So I'll make sure, everybody can get a hold of you, and link to your podcast, which is Done Being Single, that you do with your husband, which is, that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I look forward to our next segment, where we'll be talking about how men, in their 50s really feel about dating women in their 50s. Another big issue here on Second Act TV. So see you next time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on another episode of Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. Bye-bye. For more videos on finding love after 50, please visit our website, secondact.tv. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. Thanks. See you next time.